boys and girls, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the Crossroads by Cordae. Almost said YBN whatever, Cordae. But Cordae, previously YNB, YBN, whatever it was called, is a big rapper. Over 7 million monthly listeners on Spotify. He is, I don't know what to call him. He is a good rapper, and he is somebody who cares and respects the art form, I'd say, but is still struggling to find his footing outside of being a feature artist. His biggest songs on Spotify are all features, with his biggest song alone having 2 million listens. Again, he's struggling to find his lane, I think. Growing up, it looks like YBN, the mixtape, with Namir, those, that group of kids, whatever. I don't know much about his lore. I just know that he's a rapper that no longer is with that group. I remember that being kind of the biggest headline that I've seen with him, just dropping that group name. I don't know much about him, so let's just get into the notes. It is 17 songs, 48 minutes with an intro. That's a minute long, so let's say 16 and 47 minutes. There are a lot of features on this album. We got Lil Wayne, Anderson .Paak, Juicy J, Ty Dolla $ign, Jordan Ward, and Raven Lenae, Lil Wayne again, Kanye West, and Joey Badass. It's a good album. It starts off obviously with the intro, and that just rolls into 06 Dreaming, which I think is a really, really, really good song. I think, one, it doesn't have more than fucking 600,000 streams, so I feel bad for him for that, but it is a good song. And then you go into Back on Road, which is good with Lil Wayne. Summer Drop is cool with Anderson .Paak, and it's a good little start to the album. And it goes into Nothing's Promised, which is like okay. It's got a nice little subtle Kanye sample in the background, just kind of simple. And then we go into Mad as Fuck, which is good. Really good, actually. I like that song. All Alone is not my favorite song. Never See It, Juicy J. I hate Juicy J. I don't enjoy the song. And then we have Pray, and Ty Dolla $ign is on it. So that's back-to-back people that I hate. I absolutely despise Ty Dolla $ign's voice, so that kind of ruins it for me. And then Don't Walk Away is like okay. Saturday Mornings again with Lil Wayne is a pretty popular song, kind of just classic, just back and forth bars. I don't think it does too much for me personally, but it's not bad. Then we have Shy of Fani, which I believe is his child, so obviously that's kind of just made for that child when they grow up. And then we have What Really Matters, which is okay. We have Syrup Sandwiches with Joey Badass. That production is awful. It's an awful beat. It doesn't do justice to anything that they're rapping. And I did see somebody beat switch it with a little bit more of an upbeat tempo, and it sounded good. It sounded hard. It sounded like something I would listen to, but the beat that they have on Syrup Sandwiches is not good. So I think they should remix that and put a different beat on it. And then you drop out with Now You Know, which is a solid little outro. Kind of ties into just the intentions that he seems to have behind his life, mentioning his family members and things like that. But overall, it's a relatively thoughtful album, I'd say. But to get into the grades, for production, I did give it a 7.5. There's a few moments where it's solid, but overall, I do feel like it's a bit uninspired, and a little bit lazy. I think he's rapping really well, and he is using his voice really well in his delivery and his flows, but I don't think that the production gave him the same amount of effort and energy that he gave to it. To piggyback off of that, to vocals and lyrics, I gave it a 4.5 vocals. I will be transparent, as mean as it sounds. His lisp is something that I've had trouble with getting over on the past, and listening throughout this album, I barely noticed it, and I think he was able to deliver really well the lyrics that he was saying, and I gave his lyrics a 4 because he was writing really well as well. Obviously in rap, there's a lot of time that you have to fill, so it's hard to get a perfect 5 on a rap album, but he's really writing 06 Dreaming just listen to that song alone. I think that's super dope. I did see too that he sampled his mom's song that he wrote about in the song. So a 4.5 and a 4. I think he did really, really well. Exceeded my expectations. For cohesion, I did give it a 7.5. I think there's a lot of songs, so it's kind of hard to have a full feeling of cohesion when you're sitting through that much, those different stories and those different soundscapes and those different vibes. It's a lot to follow over a period of time. So it's not that it was bad again, but it's hard to get more than a 7.5 when you have 17 different songs. But for originality, I do give it an 8. I do feel that this album is easily broken down into who he's inspired by. You can feel, obviously Kanye is on it, and you can feel the production moments that are inspired by Kanye. I do believe you can feel it felt like a 2014 Forest Hills Drive moment, where you can see where, as a rapper, one, that he was inspired by J. Cole, but two, it feels like the structure is similar, in terms of the albums and in terms of the songs and the deliveries and things like that. So I felt like he was inspired by J. Cole as well, and even a little bit of Big Sean back in the day, with the more simplistic production and just trying to bring all the energy with your voice instead. So I gave it an originality score of an 8, just because I can tell where the inspiration is from. But quality, I did give it a 10. I'd be hating if I gave it anything less. Again, this album kind of exceeded what I expected. I think he's writing really well. I think he's vocalizing really well. Again, I think production could have been a little bit better, but I'm not going to fully blame him. And I think that he deserved a little bit more from the production. And I'm looking at the producing credits, and J. Cole's name is actually on it, and written by J. Cole as well. So that makes a lot of sense, and I'm proud of myself for noticing that without reading that before. So J. Cole is a super, super, super obvious inspiration for this album as well, and you can feel it, you can see it, and you can hear it. But with a 7.5, a 4.5, a 4, a 7.5, an 8, and a 10, that does put this album at an 83, B minus. I think that's very fair. I think he deserves it. I think this is a good sign, and I think I will definitely listen to whatever he comes out with next. And as a rap fan, and as of somebody being a fan of people who care, and you can tell that they care, I think this is something that you should check out if you like rap. Obviously, if you like Cordae in general, you should check it out. But if you have time, that you might find something that you like. I think this is a solid album. Again, 83, B minus. I think you should check it out. But that's Crossroads by Cordae, and I'll see you in the next one.